And we are live. Hey guys, we are doing something not normal. We're filming on a Tuesday, but we wanted to go live because the Fantastic Four trailer dropped today, and let's just say that we are hella excited about what happened. But how's your day? How's your day, bro?
Bro, day was good. Busy day. How's yours?
Same, bro. Busy day, but also like I was just distracted all day at work because
I know.
this trailer has just been since I woke up. It's just been on my mind. So I've been waiting all day to talk about this on the freaking podcast. So I know you got something to say about this
Yeah.
trailer because you
Oh
texted me
man.
the second it dropped. So how are you feeling about it at 8 o'clock at night right
Oh,
now?
I love it. I just rewatched it again for the show, and it feels like Stan Lee Fantastic Four. Yeah, it feels Hickman and Mark Waid and all that, but it's got me like feeling the vibes of real 1960s, like this man, this monster type. If you don't know this man, this monster, it's an iconic story, and it's about the Thing, kind of really down and almost coming to terms with his appearance. He is super sensitive about it at first, and it takes some time for him to grow into. And the Thing, like I always say, he's the real emotional sleeper. He's the one that really brings a lot of the story home and drives that family narrative. I think it's easy to focus on Reed and Johnny because, Reed is like the leader and obviously the intellectual genius. And Johnny is that cocky jock, and he's, got the power of being a human torch. Sue doesn't really get overlooked, but I always feel like the Thing gets overlooked, and this movie looks like it's really going to do him justice. Like I always said, I think that if this movie is done right, the Thing is going to be a fan favorite. I love the Baxter Building. It's funny. I've seen people on Twitter talk about like the Baxter Building being the Illuminati headquarters. One of the kids that tried to beef with me on Threads, by the way, it's like,
That's how it always be, bro.
you guys pretend that you read comics. Like, shut up,
Yep.
Anyway, but this stuff has me so hyped. Marvel is in their bag. And if you've been watching the show, you would have also known that first steps means first steps in space and the first steps for Franklin and Valeria, the children of Reed and Sue. I've been saying that on the show. Matt Shackman basically said that today. So I'm taking another major W here. Think twice next time before you doubt me. I'm not just saying that because I said it to him like 10 minutes ago, but I'm saying that to anyone out there.
Facts.
Kevin, ding, ding, ding. You want some attention,
Where
Kevin?
you at, Kev? Where you at, Kev?
Yeah. But,
See, this is the great thing about having people that like pop up on the show because now we can call you out when things go our way.
yeah.
So I do want to hear your outlook on Reed because I know that like for you the biggest thing was Pedro was Reed. How did you feel about seeing him in the trailer? Like what sold you?
The voice. It was my biggest concern because I was never opposed to Reed being Pedro because he's Hispanic. I don't really care about that. Like, I like him as an actor. I know he's a talented actor. But the voice, having a Hispanic accent as Reed, I knew wasn't going to work. But I reserved judgment because I was like, there's no way Marvel's going to let him fly with that. But then he had the mustache, and I was like, that's kind of odd. They're letting him get away with that. That's like the easiest thing to just shave. And I still think it's kind of weird, but whatever. But he really just delivered for me in this trailer. He came across like he sounded intellectual, not how I really read in my head when I'm reading a comic, but I could see myself reading Reed Richards with that voice, and that worked for me. And he came across as someone who's intellectual, family-oriented, someone who's super ambitious and still makes time for his family. He really did come across like Reed Richards. So it worked. On the flip side, I was when I heard the thing, I was like, and keep in mind, when I woke up, I turned my TV on, I put the trailer on, I turned it off, and I went to work. So, I didn't have like time to get all my thoughts together. But then I noticed people were talking about the thing's voice, and I was like, that's funny because I thought about that too. And when I rewatched the trailer, I thought it's not the voice I expected. It's not the iconic, the thing, yeah, I'm on Yancey Street, like New York strong accent you expect, but it's a deep voice, and I think it's going to work. And I think Marvel had different priorities with this Fantastic Four movie. I think that they thought about the fundamentals, like Reed being a white actor and the Thing having a strong New York accent, and they were like, let's just make something that is faithful to the characters and works. And if we have to shift the fundamentals, it's not the end of the world. The bigger priority here is making sure that this movie is incredible and the Fantastic Four has a successful movie, because we've never had that before, and we have to be ambitious in different ways, and maybe we compromise a bit on the fundamentals. And that's what I think they did. And I think it looks great. I really want to know who John Malkovich is. I thought someone said who was the villain? They said, Mole Man. I thought it might be Mole Man, even though he looks different than Mole Man in the comics. Like it definitely gave me Mole Man vibes. I love Mole Man. Mole Man is a fantastic villain. The Fantastic Four have villains like that are iconic and unique and creative. And it's popular for comic fans to say lately, oh, I'm a DC guy. That, first of all, that doesn't make you edgy. Like, Marvel is so creative. DC is very, like, I don't want to say typical, but they are your stereotypical superheroes. They have capes. They're fantastical. Marvel is a little more out of the box and creative with their characters, with their lore, and the Fantastic Four is the prime example of that. Like, when you think of superheroes and a stereotypical superhero, the Fantastic Four is not something you think of. But when you think of iconic Marvel, that's who you think of. And it's because it's the perfect example of creativity, pushing the envelope, ambitious storytelling, and richer lore than almost anything else in the game. And that's the kind of vibes I got from this trailer. And a lot of the people who are saying, oh, I'm a DC guy, like as if that makes you like cool and edgy. Today, they're all saying, I'm a DC guy, but this trailer.
This trailer's fire. Yeah. Yeah. And this is the best trailer that we've gotten so far in a while. And from the looks of it, is looking like this could be the best movie post Endgame so far. Out of all. Now, I want to talk about the chemistry, bro. I think like one of the biggest things that I wanted to see, which I was a little worried about, just because the castings to be felt so fast, and they actually filmed this project very fast as well. And the fact that they working, they working, because I mean they just got done filming last summer, and to be already giving us all of these visual effects. And it isn't like it's not done. Like, Jerry, the quality of the movie looks insane. It actually looks crazy. I'm very impressed with just the Marvel VFX team, but the chemistry between just the team is beautiful. And you are right, bro. The Thing is going to be the highlight of this group, and he's been all over the internet. He has been, you know what I mean? And
already, he was trending on Twitter top all day. And by the way, that's another big victory for me, because I've said that from day one.
Yeah, okay? Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing about the voice, right? Kind of like how, and I'm just trying to compare, right? The same way that Corn Sweat wanted to do, and whether if you agree or not, I'm just using this as an example, right? The same way Corn Sweat wanted to do Trunks because he felt like it was gonna make Superman look like a wrestler for kids, right? I feel like the voice with the Thing and his personality and seeing him go through this emotional kind of roller coaster, I think a lot of fans are going to relate, or I don't want to say relate, but a lot of fans are going to speak to that, you know, and I think the way that they're playing it is they're not going to make him a super depressive character like I think they've done in the past Fantastic Four films, but there's going to be enough emotional validation there where a lot of people are going to feel for that character. And I think that's what's going to make the thing amazing. Now, Jerry, the other thing that I loved that I saw is when like Reed Richards actually feels bad for the team getting their powers. And you heard that in the trailer when he was talking to Sue, saying, you know, like Ben's now a rock, Johnny's now on fire, you're invisible. And because if you guys didn't read the comics, like the reason why the Fantastic Four is famous is because Reed kind of pushed that narrative because he felt bad, you know. And so I am happy that that they're not just trying to dive in. Like, this isn't going to be another story. And something that transformed my mind, Jerry, from reading the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four is not like, they are not like other superheroes, because other superheroes, they are based on fighting, they are based on combat, and they're based on action. The Fantastic Four is more of an adventure discovery type of team. They could do a movie where there's little fighting and you're still into it. And that's what the comics showed me. Type. Exactly. And that's what the comic showed me is like, I'm like, yo, how am I loving this comic so much? And there's barely been any fighting. And this movie to me seems like it is a movie about discovery and adventure. And yes, it does, like, there's definitely going to be a crazy end battle, but action isn't what that this movie is leaning on. And this movie, I mean, given from the dialogue that we got in the freaking trailer, that script, bro, seems freaking amazing. And even with Johnny Storm, there's something going on with him as well, because he's moving kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, he's not like, I mean, I do think there's going to be some cocky like elements, but from what we've seen in the trailer, dude looks a little confused a little bit. You know what I mean? He looks like he's going through something as well.
That image of him like floating in space seems like it has a pretty deep backstory. On the dialogue on before they were going to space for the first time, and you know, Reed says, and Ben is the best of us, and Ben's like the best looking, you know,
so
that indicates to me that there's going to be the emotional weight there. And by the way, when I say emotional, I don't only mean sad. I think the thing brings all the emotions. So, you know, the dialogue was brilliant. You know, a DC shill to me in my DM before was trying to tell me, oh, we don't really know much about this movie, because I said we don't really know much about Superman based on the trailer. Like, if you couldn't pull a lot from this movie based on that dialogue, like, you're a simpleton, bro. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry, actually.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a lot there. You know, they're definitely more of an exploratory team. And I think that is going to they're going to play a big role with that when it comes to the incursions and the multiverse. You know, I did see some people say they think it's going to be really sad and, you know, maybe have something to do with how, you know, some of these timelines probably aren't going to exist forever, you know?
Yeah.
So, and that might be a good point, because it seems pretty obvious they're going to come to the sacred timeline. We just don't know exactly how yet, but that'll be interesting. I think that's what everyone wants to see most, actually.
Yeah. Do you know something else? Do you know another scene that I know that you were like, that scene when Reed is just alone by himself writing on that board? I was like, that's such a Jerry scene right there, where he's just alone by himself and he's just getting off a bunch of thoughts. I was like, that's such a Jerry scene right there. You know what I mean? And that, bro, but that's what I want to see. And something that was also interesting is that Reed didn't showcase his powers at all in that trailer. Like, we didn't see him stretch. And it's funny how we didn't see Reed use his superpowers whatsoever, but still his gravitas and character was still shown due to the good writing that they're doing. Because like I really was shocked, bro, by the dialogue. Like, the dialogue really shocked me. And I told you that was my biggest fear, is like, Pedro has to sell me that he's the smartest guy in the MCU. And based on the scenes that we saw, he is the smartest guy that we've seen in Marvel films. But also Sue Storm, Vanessa Kirby, shout out to her. because
Yeah.
she's killing it as well. You know, man, there's just so many good things you could take away from this freaking trailer, bro. I
Yeah.
also want to talk about so the question that I did want to ask you, because you're the one that put me on to F4, so you know way more than I do. Do you think that there's going to be any elements of so remember when Reed had that room where he's trying to solve all of the world's problems and Sue's like, look, like, I'm sorry about being hard on you, like, I understand that you have such a mind where you're just like, you have to do this. Do you think that there's going to be some elements of Reed being so engulfed in his work, and do you think that has to be shown when it comes to Reed as a character of like showing his knowledge not just as a gift but as a burden as well?
You know, I think there's going to be the burden of having to make a really difficult decision, and I think that difficult decision is going to be centered around them having to cross the multiverse, and you know, maybe that is a decision he makes that prepares fans for the Illuminati decision of sacrificing another planet to save, you know, Earth 616, whatever number we're on. You know, because that dilemma, that moral dilemma, as we discussed on the pod last night, you know, it's not black or white, and all the members of the Illuminati basically have a different outlook on it in the beginning, you know, and that's why I really don't like when people look at comic book heroes as so one-dimensional, and it's like, oh, well, they all represent my ideology. Like, you sound like an idiot, and you sound dumb and arrogant at the same time, which is literally the worst combination. But anyway, you know, they might have to save themselves and abandon the Earth, like, or maybe it happens by accident and they were off world and they didn't have an Earth to go back to, and you know, they somehow find the sacred timeline, and maybe that's how Marvel gets away with Reed and the team having to make such a harsh moral decision. I don't know, you know, they're and that's and the other thing is, I don't like, and maybe I have more of a leg to stand on this one, but maybe you know, I don't like when everyone's like, oh, well, this X, Y, and Z is how it's going to play out. Like, first of all, you have no idea what you're talking about. Second, if you're basing it on the comics, that doesn't necessarily mean that's how it's going to happen in the movies. But I predicted a lot of things. Arthur, you're alone on this one. The rest of the internet,
the rest of the world does not agree.
Yeah, but you're snoring so much that you came onto a podcast about it, so you're still curious enough.
Facts. Yeah, bro. Like, and that is another thing. Like, I do think that there's going to be a really bad loss, and you are onto something where it's going to have to come down to that Earth, because you know, I think there's a reason why they're branding this city as a utopia type of city, right? And these are drawings that a lot of guys have built up in these little. It's kind of like what Anthony Stark. Remember when Anthony Stark had that expo thing where he was like, "Oh, this is what the world is going to be in the future," and Tony was trying to like build that, but in reality, he was just trying to like just be an idiot. Like this world that they're in is going to be that. And you are right. I do think it's leading to something that's going to show this big sacrifice that's going to happen. And I do think Reed is going to have to wrestle with that. But I didn't think about what you just said. What if the result is out of his control? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's and I never thought about it that way until you just said that, and that will be a very interesting way to go for that character, because that would put a whole bunch more of angst. But I did hear another theory that I wanted to throw your way about this as well. So, have you heard of the channel Heroes Reforged?
Yes, I posted something of theirs the other day, actually.
Yeah, they actually posted a Captain America watch order, which I thought was super cool. But anyways,
that's what I posted.
Yeah. Really?
Someone was like, "What order should I watch?" So I reposted it on Threads, and like everyone loved it. And the guy Adam actually even thanked me for posting it, which I thought was cool of him.
Yeah, they're super cool, and they've been doing this for a while. And fun fact, they actually worked on VFX for Ant-Man, the Avengers films. Like they actually worked for a lot of these films and their main jobs is they take the movies from digital to like 3D. They basically make all these movies like
Oh
3D
wow,
and stuff.
that is
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it's super cool. But the one thing, but what one of the guys was saying is that he doesn't necessarily like the idea of the Earth being like where they started. So his idea, and I'm not really sure where I stand. I've really given it a lot of thought. I really just watched this before we got on here.
Yeah,
But the one thing that he was thinking about is what if Doom, what if they were bred in the MCU, but Doom just took them out of history? So what if they were there on New York? They were there in a game. They were there during a lot of these events, but Doctor Doom just wrote them out of history. So to us watching these films, they never existed. And
that
and
is
I, and that's it's a really interesting way to think about it.
But then where has Doom been this whole time?
I don't know. He didn't get that far yet. He
Like
didn't get that far. And by the way,
that's
we would love to have you guys and Heroes Reforged. If you wanted to explain that, we would love to have you on this show so you could, dive a little deeper into that thought. But yeah, but that was kind of the road that he was kind of going on is like, what if Doom kind of wrote them out of history instead of, them coming from like another Earth and that's where they were born and started and stuff like that. But from the way it looks, I don't really see it going that way though.
yeah, that'd be interesting.
Would be very Doom like.
Yeah.
Would it would be very Doom like. I got a couple more things I wanted to run by you on those. Oh yeah, how did you like Galactus? Like we only saw the back of his head, but still, man, that helmet is freaking accurate as heck, bro. That helmet looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, it looks sick. Hell yeah, the space helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the freaking lights. But a lot of people.
Oh, Galactus. Sorry.
Yeah. And the other thing that annoyed me, bro, so many fans were like, why does Galactus look so small? He can be whatever size he wants, bro.
Yeah.
He's a celestial. He can do whatever he wants. They were like, I want Galactus to be taller. He can shrink down to whatever size he wants, bro. Like,
Yeah.
people are so ridiculous sometimes, bro, with that stuff. Also, did you? I also liked how they put some of the origin in the trailer as well, and I like how it seems like they're gonna do the origin more as a flashback than actually like showing it as a part of the film itself, if that makes sense. So like they're gonna use that origin to reflect some of how Ben's feeling. He's gonna use the origin to reflect some of how Reed is feeling as well, and all that stuff. How did you like the Human Torch flying?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it looked great. All of it looked great. I mean, listen, some people were complaining about Sue Storm, and I'm getting tired of people who are like living to complain about things. Like some people just,
100%.
no matter what it is, they have to have something to complain. It's like, there's biases on both sides. There's people that are like, everything that I like from my favorite people is amazing and they can't do anything wrong. And then there's people that it's like, oh, they can't do anything right. And it's like, I'm starting to realize that, I always live my life like I assess something and then I make my decision and I do it fairly, and I always thought that was the normal standard way of doing things. And then, I realized that the rest of the internet is a bunch of biased, dishonest people who think that everyone else believes that they give a fair assessment. And I'm so tired of it. It's ridiculous. Like your old friend in my DMs today who was like really just like, bro, you want to be negative? Like my comment section or my DMs are not your safe space. Okay. And like, I am going to roast you. And you know what? I'm going to start calling people out by name. So I hope he's watching it because next time I'm going to throw his name out here. And I'm going to start screenshotting people and I'm going to start putting them.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. You want to act like a clown on the internet? You're going to get treated like a clown. I'm sick of it.
100%, bro. And this is definitely a conversation that you and and I'm going to add this as a docket next week, bro, for the pod, bro, because I do think that we need to have a talk about the negativity in our fandom because there like some negativity is warranted and I think there's room for critique, but when a studio is trying to do something good and you're not honoring that in either way, isn't that the point of why we critique, because we want things to be better, and then when we get things that are better you're still hating, and it's
Yeah.
like, do you want this movie to succeed? Like, I mean, there has been projects where you and I have disagreed. So I mean, prime example, right? The Marvels, at the end of the day, we wanted the movie to succeed. We wanted it to be done right. We wanted it to be done the right way. And even though we didn't agree with the movie at all, and we were kind of happy it failed because that movie was terrible. We didn't walk into the Marvel saying we want this content to be centered on this political agenda and blah, blah. No, no, no. We wanted it to be good. We wanted it to be something that we could love and cherish forever. And that's where I just question, bro. Do people actually love this stuff, bro?
And I saw someone saying that they said white people owe it to black people to watch Brave New World. Like, I'm going to watch the movie because I like Sam Wilson as a character, but like, I'm not saying, non-Jewish people owe it to Jewish people to watch it because it's an Israeli character. And it's like, stop politicizing things that we love. Like, we don't have to support your political messaging in our content, and I don't want my political messaging in your content either. And it's like, that should be the standard. And if you have a different standard, your priority is not your love for the genre. It's not your love for the movie. It's this bullshit propaganda. And it's like, you don't get the virtue signal when you're forcing your propaganda on everyone else. It's disgusting. 100%. It's gross.
100%. And
it's not going to get anyone to vote any differently. Okay.
Yep.
Like, you could make a movie making fun of, Trump or Biden. It's not going to get anyone to change sides. Like, they made the Trump movie. Did it change anything? He still won. Like,
it's
so annoying.
Exactly. Look. And nor is you hating Marvel and loving and loving everything DC does. It doesn't change our minds either, because we like both. Yeah. And we judge both projects fairly. You know what I mean? And we give all projects a chance. And that's just my plea to like fandom, is like, people like us, like even with Star Wars, if they put out something good, we will watch it. You know what I mean? Because we're fans of content. If Marvel and DC put out something good, we will watch it and we will sign off about it. And I just feel like a lot of people, bro, just aren't consistent. And that's what I've seen with the Fantastic Four, because I even saw some people on YouTube covering the Fantastic Four, and like they're just nitpicking stuff. Like, bro, like Jerry, I heard somebody say that the gradient, there was like, I'm not a fan of the gradient of the camera. Come on, dog. I would love to go back to hearing the review of like Avengers Endgame, because there's some CGI spots in there where it's jacked up. And I bet you none of those people said, oh, the CGI on Thanos in this scene it's like, come on, y'all. We got to be real, bro. We got to be real. You know what I'm saying?
The dumbest people on the internet are like the most annoying, and they virtue signal about it. And it's so ridiculous. And someone else today said, I actually reposted it and quoted it on my Twitter. Oh man, this, and ironically enough, she works with Phase Hero, which is Brandon Davis's pod. Her name is it's Jenna Lind. She goes, what we're not gonna do is pit these trailers and movies against each other. I have a feeling we're all gonna need a double.
That's why you said that
this summer. We're all going to need a double dose of hope this summer. Yet the movies are going to save you from whatever imaginary world, whatever. Anyway, so let people enjoy it and leave the Marvel DC rivalry behind for a minute. It's so ironic that like people don't understand that competition is a good thing. For example, when you have people like Kobe playing someone or Iverson, that forced him to be a better basketball player, which also forced him to be a better basketball player. And you get the best versions of each. Competition is great for the consumer because it forces both the products to get better. Iron sharpens iron. And like, I know a lot of people are anti-capitalist lately, so they naturally are, whether they realize it or not, that the anti-capitalist worldview impacts the way you see competition, because competition is naturally a capitalist thing. But that's a good thing. It's great for the consumer to have competition. Okay. It means both Marvel and DC are going to be putting out the very best product they possibly can be. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's by accident that Marvel is starting to get their act together when the DCU is just starting up. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're not playing it. They're not playing, bro.
Yeah.
And we
You want
expect
to
them to
put
give their
a
best.
dumb point of view out on the internet, just know someone who's smarter than you is not going to be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go easy on them because they're my intellectual inferior.
Yeah, like it's like, come on, dog. Like we gotta be real about some of this stuff, bro. But all in all, man, this trailer is freaking amazing. Everything that we've seen so far is great. I can't wait to get a full trailer where it's like a 2 minute type of joint to see even more of what they're going to do. Matt Shackman, you have proved yourself right. You have proved
He's
yourself
still got
that
a
you
lot
can
to
handle
prove.
this.
He's still got
Oh
a lot
yeah,
to prove.
yeah,
Let's
I'm saying, like, with this so far, he has proved himself. And I was a little worried, bro, just because when guys go from TV shows to movies, that's a hard transition, So I'm happy that it seems like but it seems like he has a formula that he's figured out. You know what I mean? So I'm happy about that.
I think it was smart to grab someone who did a show like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Not that even I'm a fan of that show, but I know so many people love it that it's probably really good. I agree, Hungry. I still am not a fan of the mustache. Like, I will never. I like I said from day one, it's indefensible. It's a bad move. I still don't think that was the right decision. And this is me being unbiased. Like, I love this trailer, but if I have something to criticize, like, I'm going to criticize it. But I'm not going to let something as minuscule hold me back from enjoying a trailer. Because I'm able to be unbiased and see things from an objective point of view. And if you can't do that, you shouldn't be voicing your opinions on the internet.
Yep.
But I also love the rollout with the posters. I love that.
Oh yeah.
It's obvious that the people love the Fantastic Four and are so excited about it. And, they had, one of them was holding the Thing action figure. A couple others were in like a Fantastic Four logo, soapbox car, whatever they call those things. So that was cool. And I love all of it. I love the vintage TV vibes. I love the costumes because the costumes feel like 1960s Fantastic Four, but not in the way that the unreleased 90s TV movie looked like, because those suits look like trash.
You ain't wrong about that. So question, like, what is the difference between the Superman rollout and this one because I know you like the Fantastic Four, but what the Fantastic Four did better than Superman. And I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about this because they want to avoid the competition, but us, we embrace it. So what is something that you kind of value more that the Fantastic Four and Marvel Studios did versus DC? Because
with this trailer,
yeah, just with the trailer and the rollout, because you were texting me some really good points, and I think that the pod people would love to hear it as well.
I love that this trailer told us more about the movie. It seemed to me that the only words that mattered from the Superman trailer were people online saying, "But he's a beacon of hope." Like, if I hear that one more time, it's like, oh my God, it's so cringe. Anyway, it's so cringe. Like, this, if I ever say, oh, Superman's the man, he's a beacon of hope, pull me off the pod, please. From myself. But the dialogue tells us a lot about the movie without being over revealing, if that makes sense. We didn't find out more than we should. And I love that. And I almost hope that the next trailer isn't 2 minutes. I hope that they don't tell us so much more about the movie. I hope they save the surprises for the actual movie. I think that we need to get back to that. And it feels like Marvel is kind of going back to the drawing board and rethinking how they do things. And I love that because it's so important. I think for a while, up until Endgame, it felt like Marvel. It felt like if they wanted to put out fire, it was guaranteed they were going to put out fire. They were capable. And then all of a sudden, it felt like they weren't capable. And it was like, that's not a good thing. We need them to. And it was like, did they lose their touch? Because now, if you're going to see a Marvel movie, you're not guaranteed that you're going to love it anymore. And it feels like they thought about that and they are rethinking how they're doing things, because I think in the time post Endgame when it felt like they lost that touch, a lot of people felt that Marvel was becoming more gimmicky and cheap effects. Like there were a couple bangers post Endgame, but a lot of that was reliant on cheap tricks like cameos and things that didn't really hold as things that should have seemed like people attributed more weight to them than they should have. And that doesn't seem to be the case with this movie. And I love that. I really do. I think that's one of the most important things that Marvel could be doing right now.
Yeah. So we actually had a comment on TikTok from Sticks. By the way, yo, what's up, dog? Yo, Sticks, he's a Twitch streamer. Yo, one of his clips on Instagram did 1 million views like a week ago. He's going crazy. Yeah. But he commented, he said, agreed, I actually know what the Fantastic Four is about. And facts. Like they're actually giving you a lot of good info. I want to read some chats, and then I want to read just some comments from the trailer itself that people commented just to should tell you guys the temperature. So let's see. I know this is unlikely, but imagine a post-credit scene of the Fantastic Four meeting recasted T'Challa of this universe. That would be insanity, and I would jump out of my seat and cry.
I wish it was, but it's not.
Yeah. Do you think Galactus will be just a one and done of this universe, or somehow, some way, Galactus will come into the main MCU universe? I don't think Galactus is going to be a one and done. I do not. By the way, back to what you said about the trailers, I hope we do not see Franklin and Valeria at all. I hope we don't see the kids. I hope that's a secret that they keep until we actually see.
I agree.
Yeah. And another kept secret might be that female Silver Surfer too. I don't think we're going to see the Silver Surfer at all. I don't,
and I don't think there's a male Silver Surfer, because if there was, they would have put it out in this trailer because they would want to nip the talk from people like me in the butt. And no, I am not going to stop criticizing it being a female Silver Surfer. So if you are hoping that I am going to just accept that and get on my knees and pray to it like you do, no, I'm not going to do that.
How do you guys feel about Galactus? I always see fans hyping up Galactus, but to me, I find him to be a one-trick pony, big purple man that eats planets.
Definitely is a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
But he is interesting because the Galactus stories are always great. Like, he has really good stories, especially in the Mark Waid run that I told you about. But Galactus is great. He's a great villain because he creates such a Avengers level threat like problem for the Fantastic Four.
Another word you hate?
It puts them in a predicament that creates great stories. The Galactus is great. He's a one-trick pony, but not in the way that Mr. Freeze is a one-trick pony. Because if the one trick is a good trick, like, it works,
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, unlike Mr. Freeze, Galactus can fit with multiple characters and multiple stories. Like, he's been in stories with Thor, with Franklin, with Reed. He's been with other characters. With, like, I'm pretty sure that there was a comic where Moon Knight is a herald of freaking Galactus. Like, there's a lot of cool different stories, with like Galactus in it. So
it isn't like just make a Mr. Freeze Superman movie.
You said what?
I'm kidding.
I was about to say, do I have to add a topic? Do you have to do another podcast tonight? Oh my gosh. Let's see.
Keep in mind, we have people on the internet who really do think Mr. Freeze should be the next Batman villain. So that should explain the state of the internet.
Yeah, no, Mr. Freeze, please, guys, we can't do that. I hated the dialogue, especially when Reed says, "Before we went in space, you couldn't turn invisible-ish." disappointing. Why do you hate that though? Because then it also goes to the scene when they're in the spaceship and he's holding Sue and you watch her getting her powers. I thought that was dope. I thought it was cool because it's also showing people in the trailer some of the origin of like how they got their powers. So for someone that's never seen this before, they're kind of like learning about the Fantastic Four in a minute and 49 seconds. I think it's genius, honestly. I thought that was genius. All right, now I want to read some comments and then we're going to get out of here. So this is from the Fantastic Four from Marvel Entertainment. Right now, they're at 15,851,661 views. They are number one on trending for YouTube, and they have 676,000 likes right now. Superman is sitting at I think 59 million at 1 point something million likes, 1.2 million likes. But I was reading the comments. It says this. I am 50 years old and I can't wait to take my dad to this movie. And it was the first comic he showed me in my life. That's fire. That's fire. Okay. Many times we talked about actors who were born to play a character, but can we start talking about composers who were born to play their score? Michael G with the Fantastic Four feels perfect. And I also agree. Jerry, I also forgot to talk about the music. The music is top tier.
Yeah. It really is. They killed this.
Oh yeah. They said, look, as a family, Dominic. I like the sound of that.
Oh, I saw that. That was great.
They said, oh my gosh, that's so funny. I'm gonna read a few more. I kind of wish the Thing's voice was a bit deeper or at least more raspy. I feel like Michael Chiklis did a good representation of his voice, and I think that was the thing from the first Fantastic Four movie. But also, that Thing was always angry all the time. Like it was a different take on the Thing. Like he was angry basically about what happened to him, and he kind of stays that way throughout the two films. Look, but they said Johnny is Johnny, the most accurate description for Johnny.
Yeah.
Here's the last one. I love the first scene of Ben is him going out of his way to be nice to a robot, almost like he's afraid to hurt his feelings. So like I
thought the Ben dialogue with Herbie was incredible. That was just so Ben, and it was awesome. I love this actor. What is his name? I just looked
Eben Moss Tarak, whatever name. Eben Moss something.
Yeah, he played Micro in The Punisher. If you don't know, really? Micro is the Punisher's right-hand man. Yeah. You remember he was the guy in the lab.
Dude, I don't remember. It's been so long.
You remember everything about Arrow season 1.
I even forgot some stuff with freaking Daredevil, bro. Like Netflix, yeah. I feel like a lot of the Netflix stuff for me is like on there. I think because I wasn't I wasn't into it when it came out. I guess
you were probably a little young for like that level of grit.
Yeah. Like Daredevil was good, but Luke Cage seemed like a little too much for me at the time.
Right. Yeah, Luke Cage I didn't love so much, but The Punisher season 1 was my favorite out of any of them. Like that was just so hardcore.
It, man.
Yeah. Oh, The Punisher season 1, and I would have to say Daredevil season 2 or even 3, but just those scenes where Punisher was like, "And what do you do, Red? What do you do?" That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty impressed with my Punisher voice.
That wasn't bad, bro. That wasn't bad. Yeah. And also, bro, Eben Moss was in that show, The Bear, which is like that new, which is like a
people show. Love that show. My mom's a huge fan.
They keep winning awards every year, dude. It's just, they don't stop, bro. They don't stop. So, but yeah, that scene was freaking gold, bro. When he's like talking and he's like, "I'm gonna add some garlic in here because I need more zinc." Also, the one thing about the Thing, his facial expressions, bro. You can see, like, they cooked. They really cooked with that. They really did. So. All in all, guys, we are happy with this. We really wanted to go live and talk about this. So we hope you guys have enjoyed this. Tomorrow, we talked about Kang last night. And I think the video is about 12 minutes long. Please check out that Kang the Conqueror video because we really went deep into Jonathan Majors and how we think he should come back. Please check that out. I think we have a really interesting perspective that not a lot of people do, because in that video we go into what the story could have been, where I think a lot of people are just focused on Jonathan Majors himself. Jerry and I do things a little different when we break down a lot of content. We're not just obsessed with the real life, but we're also going into the story itself. Because if you guys haven't read that Avengers 5 script that we read on this channel a while ago, it's going to hit. So please check that out tomorrow. And also on TikTok, Jerry is breaking down Secret Wars, and he's also doing some stuff on the I think on the Superhero Registration Act as well. And so, like, if you want to learn about comics, that's the guy you go to. Jerry's the one that put me on. He basically gave me a freaking reading list to to get more into comics. And so please check him out. And then if you want news, that's kind of where I'm at. So please,
what I will say about the Superhero Registration Act video that I'm doing is I am going to compare the Superhero Registration Act to something that happened recently in the real world. And I am going to say what Tony did and what Steve did and how it aligns with either side of the spectrum. And I think you all know where I'm going with this. I'm not really going to say what my argument of what or who I think is right or wrong. I really want to leave that to everyone else. And, for you to kind of take an assessment and, keep in mind, like, Civil War is the ultimate example of not all of these characters think the same. And like anyone who comes on the internet and says all of these characters represent my ideology, like, you have no idea what you're talking about. And you sound arrogant and you sound unintelligent when you say that. And if you really do read comics and you think that, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. And when you watch him get in his bag, it's going to make you want to read that Civil War story, which is probably the greatest crossover of all time, by the way. Yeah. All right, and we're going to hit this chat, and then we're going to...
And I've read the full 100-issue story, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Here's my thing about the merged universe at the end of Secret Wars. Is it just X-Men and the and Fantastic Four come to the main universe, or we just go on from there? Or will it be a timeline reset? Hungry Almighty, we do not know. But if I was to take a guess on what's going to happen, I think it will be a timeline reset. And I think Franklin's going to be the one to do it. That's kind of where I'm at. Because who else would be able to do it? Unless if maybe... Never mind.
Yeah. It's too early to predict with that. It really is. And, you never know. They could prune it like...
Yeah.
They could do Deadpool and Wolverine 3 and prune it like Deadpool and Wolverine.
Deadpool saves the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
That'll be hilarious. Yeah, that'll be hilarious.
The hierarchy of the Marvel Universe will never be the same.
Yeah, by the way, something I do want to see, bro. I do want to see freaking Dr. Doom take out Loki.
That would be crazy.
They're going to have to clash at a point. It's going to, and it has to happen in Doomsday. It has to. Like, there has to be some type of sign that Loki's getting taken out.
Fake. The more I think about it, the more fake I think it is.
Yeah. I think. Hey, I wouldn't mind if after Secret Wars they go and try to do something with Jonathan, but it's not going to happen now.
I just don't, because after Secret Wars is going to be the Mutant Saga, and they're not going to want to put that much spotlight on Kang for the Mutant Saga. It doesn't make any sense. And the multiverse. Like I always said, I love Kang. I want to see Kang, but if they're scrapping him now, we're not seeing Kang for at least another 10 years.
Oh yeah, I want to pull up this thing that Kang said about the mutants that I think is hilarious. Okay, all right. So this quote right here, right, Jerry, you're gonna die at this, because this is like a Jerry part right here. Okay. Kang basically tells the X-Men why he has no respect for them at all. He says, "Do you ever wonder why I consider the Avengers my greatest foes of this age and never you X-Men, or involve myself in the affairs of y'all? Because in every future, in all caps, you lose. You are all gone because you are mutants, in all caps. In the truest sense of the word, you are not and never have been a part of human evolution. when you eventually get your wish, when you eventually get your wish of complete segregation from humans and begin to breed with each other ex, ex, exclusively, your race will continue to mutate into forms you cannot fathom. Your grandchildren will be so convinced of their genetic manifest destiny that they will not only attempt to eradicate Homo sapiens, but also any mutant that looks more sapient than superior. And then he just goes on and just rips the mutant for like another 10 lines.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Kang would never be in the mutant saga because he doesn't care about them. I'm going to send you that, by the way, Jerry. You're going to laugh, bro. It's literally just like a verbal just trashing of the mutants for like 2 minutes.
Right. Oh, that's you know, listen, I like the mutants and they're cool. It's not my favorite area of Marvel, though. I gotta say,
What is your favorite? What is your favorite area of Marvel?
it's tough. It's probably the Avengers or Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic Four is up there too, but like, just the Avengers just have so many good runs. It's crazy. Like
The Illuminati kind of like set the bar for me.
yeah.
That
And-
alone is just crazy.
I have so many favorites, like Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man. I love the mutants. They're probably top 5, maybe at like 5, but you know, Marvel has so many good ones, and DC's good. It's just like most of their like classic iconic runs are like 6 or 12 issues. You know, I don't know. I find myself every time I just when I just go with what I want to read, I naturally end up reading more Marvel.
Yeah.
I think people. It's funny though because a lot of the people who are like, "Oh, I like DC. It's darker. It's edgier." They'll also turn around and tell you in the same breath that the DCU needs to be brighter and more hopeful. And it's like, well, that's what you just said you don't love about DC. So it makes no sense.
Yeah, that's how you know they just don't know the content, bro. They just don't know.
Yeah. It's just, and there's so many people that pretend they read comics. Like, the kid that I was beefing with on Threads, I noticed he started a thread. Comics I read this year. Like, if you have to prove to people you read comics, you don't really read comics. And if you don't know the Baxter Building is the home of the Fantastic Four, you definitely don't read comics.
Yeah, dude, I didn't even read comics like that, and I knew about the Baxter Building. That's how you know it's like, come on, dog, you can Google that.
I mean, that's like such basic information. It's crazy.
Yep.
So these are the people that think they have authority on the internet.
Yeah, right. So, all right, y'all, we're going to end it here tonight. We hope you guys have fun while we got to sit here and just talk about some comics in the Fantastic Four trailer. We'll be back on Monday. So you guys have a great day. And look, man, next Invincible drops tomorrow, but next week is Brave New World week, and we got a lot of Captain America to talk about. You guys have a great day. Yeah, have a great night, and peace out.
Peace.